Hello and welcome to Nullitaire Gaming, where we play games with 0 players. Or in other words, we play bots or AI against one another. And right now we're playing Imperium, Legends and Classics, and we're playing a tournament. So we're putting all of the factions, all 16 of them, up against one another in a single elimination tournament. And we've filmed 2 videos so far. So the first 2 games are complete, and this will be the 3rd video. So I recommend, if you haven't seen any other video in the series, to go and watch it from the beginning. I'll put a link in the description of this video to the full playlist so you can start at the beginning. And especially you should watch the first video where I explain how I use the bots and setup and all those sorts of things. Okay, so the first 2 games of the tournament are complete. We played the Arthurians versus the Vikings, and the Arthurians were victorious. And we played the Romans versus the Egyptians, and the Egyptians won that game. So now we're going to play the Persians versus the Mauryans. Okay, here we go. So the game is now set up. I randomly determined who would go first, and it's the Mauryans, who will be the first player on the left, and the Persians will be the second player on the right. And I'm trying to learn from my mistakes. In the previous video, in the previous 2 videos, I had the power card here, and I would put the discard pile on the other side, but that led to me accidentally treating the history pile as a discard pile and making a mistake. So, moving those up now, and this will be draw a pile, and the discard will just go here. And the Dynasty deck back there, of course. Okay, and as usual, the top row is for the first player, the Mauryans, and the bottom row is for the second player, the Persians. Okay, so the Mauryans go first. Here we go. The Mauryans start off by rolling a 5, and their first card is Unrest. So we'll simply go back to the Unrest pile. The next card is Chanakya. Excuse my pronunciations. I think that's probably close to right anyway. Chanakya. Okay, which is a barbarian card. So on the barbarian chart for the Mauryans, they always start as barbarians. Let's see. This is not advanced, it's not prosperity. This is not an attack card, it's not a region, it's not pinned, and it's not empire. Ah, we get all the way to other. Interesting. Oh, there's not much. There's not much on this chart, actually, interestingly. Okay, so be it other. If able, acquire an uncivilized card. Yes, they can definitely do that. Okay, if able, return a region in discard to the top of the bot deck. Place the top card from the Dynasty deck and discard, and put this card into history. Oh, okay. So lots of things to do. So we'll start with acquiring an uncivilized card. There are 3 uncivilized cards in the market: road building, city, and espionage. They're all worth 1 victory point. Each one's 1. And none of them have any progress or any other tokens on them, so they'll take the one furthest to the left. So they'll take road building together with the Unrest. Put that right on top of their deck. So the next part of the instructions say, if able, return a region in the discard pile to the top of the bot deck. Well, there is no discard pile right now, so they won't do that. Okay. Place the top card from the Dynasty deck into discard and put this card into history. Okay, so the top card from the Dynasty deck goes into discard, and this card will go into history under the power card. The next card is Prosperity, which is a named card here, I believe, yes. Discard the top card from the bot deck. Gain 1 progress per region in play. They don't have any regions in play. You may draw a card. Okay, so you may draw a card, this bold print where it says you. Again, that refers to the other player. Well, technically it refers to the solitaire player because these bots were made for solitaire. But for us, it refers to the other bot. Okay, so the Persians may draw a card. But bots do not draw cards, so you can't force a bot to draw a card. So that won't happen. So all that's going to happen here is that the... Oh wait, no, that's not true. You can't force a bot to discard a card, but when they may draw a card, that means they just discard a card. Okay, so what's going to happen is both bots are going to discard the top card of their deck, and that's it. The last card for the Mauryans is Advance, which I think is their top priority. Yep. If able, spend 1 progress to acquire a civilized card. Well, they don't have any progress, so they can't do that. Otherwise, if able, acquire an uncivilized card. So they'll do that. It's still the case that there are 3 uncivilized cards in the market. It's still the case that they're all worth exactly 1 victory point. So again, they'll take the one furthest on the left, Code of Laws. So that's the end of the turn for the Mauryans. They place Progress on the 5 card. Slide that down, and they'll refill their hand. It's the Persians' turn now. They also roll a 5, and their first card is a tributary card, the Lydians. So, looking at the barbarian chart for the Persians, this is not a fame card, it's not glory, it is a tributary card. Okay, so gain 2 materials and 2 population, discard the top card from the deck, and put this card into history. So they've gained 2 materials, 2 population, discarded the top card of the deck, and now the Lydians will go into history. The next card is Unrest. So we'll simply go back to the Unrest pile, and then the next card is Conquer. So that's not a fame card, it's not glory, it's not a tributary, it is Barbarian. Okay, oh whoa, kind of long. Okay, if able, spend 3 population to break through for a tributary and put this card into history. Can't do that, they only have 2 population right now. Otherwise, if able, spend 2 materials to acquire a civilized or uncivilized card. They can do that, they just picked up 2 materials. Okay, then an otherwise, okay, so they're going to do the second thing. They're going to spend 2 materials and acquire a civilized or uncivilized card. Well, right now there are 4 cards that count as civilized or uncivilized. City and Espionage are both worth 1 each. Amphitheater is worth 6. It's got the asterisk, which we count as 5. Plus 1 for the progress token, and Shaduf, it counts as 5, the asterisk. So, this one is worth the most, they're going to take Amphitheater. The last card for the Persians is Unrest. Simply goes back to the Unrest pile. And they place Progress on the 5 card. And they will slide this down and refill their hand. The Mauryans now roll another 5. Okay, so the first card is a region, Indus Valley. So let's see how the Mauryans are going to play that. Okay, it's not advanced, it's not prosperity, it's not attack, it's a region. Discard the top card from the bot deck, play the region, exile a card from the market. So we've discarded a card from the deck, put the region into play up here, and now they're going to exile the card from the market. Oops, I forgot to replace that one. Let me do that. Should take some Unrest. There we go. Okay, and when bots exile cards in the market, they always take the one furthest to the left that has no tokens on it. So Shaduf here doesn't have any tokens on it, so it will be exiled. The next card is Unrest, so we'll simply go back to the pile. And the next card is Code of Laws, which is a pinned civilized card. Okay, so we get to pinned here. Gain a progress, discard the top card of the deck, and put this card into history. The last card for the Mauryans is Road Building, another pinned card, so I think we're probably going to have a repeat of the last card. Yes, gain 1 progress, discard the top card, put this card into history. Okay, that's the last card for the Mauryans, so they place another progress token on the marsh, and they will refill their hand. Their draw deck now is empty though, so they take the top card from the Dynasty deck, put it into discard, and shuffle. Okay, well we finally get something besides a 5 for the Persians. It's a 4. And their first card is Advance. So let's see, it's not Fame, not Glory, not Tributary. It is Barbarian. Okay, so that's going to be the priority here. If able, spend 3 population. They don't have that many, so they won't do that. Otherwise, spend 2 materials. They can't do that. So they'll do the last thing. Gain 1 material and 1 population and put this card on top of the bot deck. The next card is Unrest, so once again, back to the Unrest pile. I'll play the next card, Amphitheater, which is pinned and has the Empire symbol. So let's see which comes up first. It's none of those. Looks like pinned comes up first. Okay. If able, acquire a region, put this card into history. So there are two regions in the market. Neither one is worth any victory points on its own, but this one has 3 progress on it. So the Persians are going to take the marsh. The last card for the Persians is Prosperity, which is a named card here. Discard the top card from the bot deck. Gain 1 material and 1 population per region in play. They don't have any regions in play, so that won't do anything. And the Mauryans will also discard a card. So both bots will discard a card. Alright, that's the end of the turn for the Persians. So place progress on the 4 card. Slide this down and refill their hand. They only have 2 cards in hand in their deck though, so they'll take the card off the Dynasty deck and they'll shuffle their deck. The Mauryans roll a 6, so they're going to play all their cards this turn. Starting with this region, Magadha. Okay. Which also has the barbarian symbol on it, but I think region's still going to come first. Yep. Okay, discard the top card from the bot deck, play the region, and exile a card from the market. So once again, they take the first card from left to right that has no tokens on it, so they'll take this region, Peninsula. Sorry, I meant to say that they exile it, not that they take it. So it's in the exile pile. Next card is Unrest. Back to the Unrest pile. Next card is Indian Elephants, which is an attack card. Okay, attack. Breakthrough for a region, and you recall a region, so that means the Persians have to recall a region. They don't have any in play, so that won't do anything. So the Mauryans will break through for a region. So as I mentioned before, when bots break through for anything, they still just take whatever's in the market if it's available. They won't go rooting around in the decks unless there's no card of the required type in the market. So they're going to take more here. The next card is Chandragupta, which is a barbarian card. But they don't care about the barbarian symbol, do they? I don't think they do. Okay, so I think we're going to get all the way to other here. Yeah, nothing else. There's no priority. Okay. If able, acquire an uncivilized card. They can definitely do that. If able, return a region in discard to the top of the bot deck. We'll have to see about that. Place the top card from the Dynasty deck in discard, put this card into history. Alright, so let's do the first thing first, acquire an uncivilized card. There are 2 uncivilized cards in the market, City, which is worth 1 victory point, and Espionage, which is worth 2 victory points. So they're going to take Espionage. Okay, so they acquired an uncivilized card. Next part is, if able, return a region in discard to the top of the bot deck. Well, there aren't any regions in their discard pile, so that does nothing. Then place the top card from the Dynasty deck into discard and put this card into history. Okay, so they'll take the top card from the Dynasty deck, put it in their discard pile, and this card will go to history. Last card for the Mauryans is Unrest. So that's it for them. They won't place progress because they rolled a 6. They'll just refill their hand. The Mauryans did not quite have enough cards in their draw deck to fill their hand, so they'll take another card from the Dynasty deck and then shuffle. The Persians roll a 4. Again. Their first card is Bactria, a region card. And so, region. Gain 1 population, play the region, and exile a card from the market. They will exile Mercenaries. The next card is Advance, which is a barbarian card, which I think is the first priority, yeah. If able, spend 3 population, they can, to break through for a tributary and put this card into history. So they're going to break through for the Etruscans, so they don't take the Unrest because they're breaking through. And this card is going to go into history. The next card is Glory, which is a named card here for the Persians. If able, abandon 3 regions to gain the top fame card. No, they can't do that. They only have 1 region in play. Otherwise, break through for a region. So they're going to do that. So they're going to take Jungle. The last card for the Persians is Prosperity. So, discard the top card. Gain 1 material and 1 population per region. They have 1 in play, so they'll get 1 of each. And the Mauryans will also discard the top card of their deck. Okay, that's the Persian turn, so they'll place Progress on the 4 card in the market. Slide this down, and they will refill their hand. The Mauryans now roll a 4, and their first card is Unrest. So we'll go to the Unrest pile. You know, after our first game, I was worried that a lot of games would end in collapse with the Unrest pile just running out, but this game, the previous game, Romans and Egyptians, that never was the case. And here, I mean, this is a pretty thick pile now. So I think the thing about these bots is, yeah, they do give each other a lot of unrest sometimes, but the bots also get rid of unrest pretty quickly too. So maybe having a game end in collapse is not really going to be that common. Okay, so that's good. I was worried since our first game ended that way that it was going to happen all the time, but so far, you know, the Romans versus the Egyptians, it didn't happen, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen here either. So that's good news. The next card is Espionage, which is an attack card. So for the Mauryans, attack, breakthrough for a region, and they're going to force the Persians to recall the 1 region they have in play. So they're going to take Oasis, put that on top of their deck, and the Persians now have to recall a region, so they'll put that back on their deck. Next is the Mauryan Moor. That's hard to say. Okay, a Moor, which is a region, of course. So, discard the top card of the deck, play the region, exile a card. They will exile Coinage. The last card for the Mauryans is Prosperity. So that means discard the top card, gain a progress per region in play. They have 3 regions in play, so they'll gain 3 progress. And both bots will discard the top card. Okay, it's the end of the turn for the Mauryans. They'll place Progress on the 4 card in the market, and they will refill their hand. They only have 2 cards in their deck, though. So that means another card from the Dynasty deck, and they'll shuffle. The Persians now roll a 3, and their first card is Marsh, a region card. So they're going to gain 1 population, play the region, and exile a card. So they will exile Elders. The next card is a Tributary, Etruscans. So they will gain 2 materials and 2 population, discard the top card of their deck, and put this card in history. Another region this time, Nicaean Plain. So that means gain a population, play the region, exile a card. So they exile Metropolis this time. The last card for the Persians is Conquer, which is a barbarian card. So we're here. If able, spend 3 population to break through for a tributary and put this card into history. They can do that, so that's what they'll do. So they're going to break through for the Ionians. Okay, that's the last card for the Persians, so they'll put Progress on the 3 card in the market and refill their hand. They only have 1 card, though. So, we'll take a card off the Dynasty deck, put it into discard, and shuffle. Okay, the Mauryans roll a 4 and start with some Unrest. That's easy. The next card is Advance, which is their first priority. If able, spend a Progress to acquire a Civilized card. They can do that. Okay, so that's what they're going to do. There are 2 Civilized cards in the market. City here has the Civilized icon, and so does Temple. So the City is worth 1 victory point, and the Temple is worth 5, plus 1, 6. So they're going to take the Temple. The next card is an attack card, Indian Elephants. So that means they're going to break through for a region, and force the Persians to recall a region. The only region in the market is floodplain, so they'll take that. And the Persians will recall Nicaean Plain. Last card for the Mauryans is Oasis, a region card. So they'll discard the top card of their deck, play the region, and exile a card. They will exile Oracle. That's it for the Mauryans, so they'll place Progress on the 4 card and refill their hand. Persians roll a 6, so they're going to play all their cards. And they'll start with Conquer, a barbarian card. If able, spend 3 population. Yes, they can do that. To break through for a tributary and put this card into history. So they'll do that. There are no tributaries in the market, and the Persians are breaking through. Therefore, they will draw cards off the top. Oh, they find the Egyptians. Okay. So they'll take that. The next card is a tributary, Ionians. So the Persians will gain 2 material and 2 population, discard the top card of their deck, and put this card into history. The next card is a region, Jungle. So, gain 1 population, play the region, and exile a card. We don't need no education. The next card is another region, Bactria. So we should have a repeat of the last one. Okay, yeah, gain a population, play the region, exile a card. This time the Celts get exiled. The last card for the Persians is another region. So, same thing. Gain a population, play the region, exile a card. And this time a region gets exiled. That's it for the Persians. Because they rolled a 6, they don't place any progress, they'll just refill their hand. They didn't quite have enough cards, so they'll take another card from the Dynasty deck, add it to their discard pile, and reshuffle. They have a very thin deck here, only 2 cards. The Mauryans now roll a 4, and they'll start with Espionage, which is an attack card. So that means they're going to break through for a region and force the Persians to recall a region. So they will take Forest, and they'll force the Persians to recall Zagros. The region deck is now empty, so we're drawing off the main deck to fill this space now. So there are no regions in the market right now. Okay, so the Mauryans' next play is Unrest, and then their next card after that will be Temple, which is Pinned and Empire. I think Pinned comes first. Yeah, Pinned comes before Empire. Okay, so they're going to gain a progress, discard the top card of their deck, and this card will go into history. And the last card for the Mauryans is Prosperity, which means they will discard the top card of their deck, gain a progress for each region in play. They have 4 regions in play. And the Persians will also discard a card. So that's the end of the Mauryan turn. We place another progress token on the 4 card. Slide this down. And they've only got 1 card left in their hand, so they'll take another card from their Dynasty deck and they'll reshuffle. Persians now roll a 2, and their first card is Nicaean Plain, a region card. So they will gain a population, play the card, and exile a card. So they will exile Urban Development. The next card is Unrest, and then Prosperity. So Prosperity says, discard the top card of the bot deck, gain 1 material and 1 population per region in play. The Persians have 4 regions in play, so they'll get 4 of each. And then the Mauryans will also discard a card. The last card for the Persians is the Egyptians, a tributary card. So it says gain 2 materials and 2 population, discard the top card of the deck, and this card will go to history. So that's the end of the Persians' turn. They'll place a progress and refill their hand. The deck is empty though, so another Dynasty card is on the deck. City of Persepolis is the next card, so when it goes in the discard pile, the Persians will become an empire. The Mauryans now roll a 6, so they're going to play all their cards again. And the first card is Arthashastra, which is a pinned card. So I think this is the first priority, yep. Gain a progress, discard the top card, and put this card into history. The next card is Unrest. And then Nanda Dynasty, a tributary card. So let's see. And they don't have tributary on their list, so we go all the way to other. Okay, so this has several things we need to do. Okay, so we'll start with acquiring an uncivilized card. Well, there are 3 uncivilized cards in the market. Monument over here is worth 1 victory point. This card is City. It's worth 1 + 1, 2 victory points. And this card, Town, has the question mark. We always treat it as the highest victory point value listed, and this just says 2 VP if in history. So we'll treat this as 2, but it also has 4 progress on it. So this one's worth 6. So they're going to take this card. The next part of this instruction says, if able, return a region in discard to the top of the bot deck. I don't think there are any regions. No. So that does nothing. Okay. Lastly, place the top card from the Dynasty deck into the discard pile and put this card into history. Alright, so we're going to take the top card of the Dynasty deck, put it into the discard pile, and this card will go to the history. The next card is Forest, which is a region card. So, region. Discard the top card of the bot deck, play the region, exile a card. So the Mauryans now have 5 regions in play. They're going to exile Monument. Last card for the Mauryans is Espionage, an attack card. So they will break through for a region and force the Persians to recall a region. There is a region in the market now. Rainforest has come into play, so they'll take that. And the Persians will have to recall Lycian Plain. That's it for the Mauryans. They don't place any progress because they rolled a 6. They'll refill their hand. Well, the Persians say, we can do that too. They roll a 6. So they're going to play all of their cards as well. Starting with Glory. Okay, so Glory for the Persians. If able, abandon 3 regions to gain the top fame card. They can. They do have 3 regions in play. Otherwise, okay, so that's what they're going to do. They're going to abandon 3 regions. They have exactly 3 regions in play, so they'll abandon Bactria, then they'll abandon the jungle, and then they'll abandon the marsh. So all those go into discard, and they'll gain the top fame card, put it on their deck. Next card is a region, Arachosha, or something like that. Anyway, okay, so region. Gain a population, play the region, exile a card. So they will exile the Assyrians. Next card is another region, Zagros. So it should have the same thing. Gain a population, play the region, exile a card. And so they exile the Greeks. Next is a tributary, the empire in the middle, the Median Empire. Okay, probably Median Empire. Anyway, tributary card. And so gain 2 materials and 2 population, discard the top card of the deck, and this card goes into history. Last card for the Persians is Prosperity. So that means discard the top card of the deck, gain 1 material and 1 population per region in play. They have 2 regions in play, so they'll get 2 of each. And the Mauryans will also discard a card. Okay, that's the end of the turn for the Persians. They don't place any progress because they rolled a 6, and they'll refill their hand. But they've only got 1 card in hand, so that means the city of Persepolis goes into the discard, and so now the Persians become an empire. The Mauryans now roll a 4, and they start with the Rainforest, a region card. So discard the top card of the deck, play the region, exile a card. They will exile Steppe. Next card is Town, which is both pinned and barbarian. I don't think the Mauryans care about the barbarian symbol. No. Okay, so pinned. Gain a progress, discard the top card, and put this card in history. There are the Indian elephants again, which is an attack card. Breakthrough for a region, and they're going to force the Persians to recall a region. There are no regions in the market, and there's no region deck anymore, so since we're breaking through here, they're going to draw cards off the top of the main deck until they find a region. There we go, mountain. So they'll acquire that, and, well, break through for it, I should say, and this will be shuffled back in. And the Persians will recall Zagros. Last card for the Mauryans is Prosperity. So that means discard the top card of their deck. They gain a progress per region in play. They have 6, so they get 6 progress. And the Persians will also discard the top card of their deck. That's it for the Mauryans. They'll place progress and slide that card down. They don't have any cards in their draw pile, so another card from their Dynasty deck will go into their discard pile. The next card is the Glory card. When that goes into the discard, they'll become an empire. It's the Persian turn now. They roll a 3 this time. They start with Nicaean Plain. And so they are an empire now, so we're looking at their empire table. I've put this big sticky note over the barbarian table just to keep me from accidentally looking at that one. Okay, I noticed in previous games sometimes I would have a tendency to accidentally look at the wrong table, so this will help me make sure I look at the right thing. Okay, so it's not a fame card, it's not glory, it's not barbarian, not tributary, not attack. Okay, it's a region. Play the region, exile a card. Oh, simple as that. They will exile agriculture. Next card is another region, jungle. So we'll have the same thing, I suppose. Yeah, play the card, exile a card from the market. So now they'll exile Oracle. Here's the Prosperity card. And that is no longer named on this table. So it doesn't have any of these icons. So we get all the way to other. If able, acquire a region, otherwise gain a progress. Well, there are no regions in the market, so they can't do that. So they'll just gain a progress. The last card for the Persians is a fame card. Marvelous. Okay, so fame is top priority. Spend 3 population. They can definitely do that. They have a large population. To gain 1 progress as many times as possible. Put this card into history. Okay, they're going to gain quite a bit of progress here. So the Persians have 18 population, which just so happens to divide evenly by 3. So they're going to spend all of that and gain 6 progress. So the Persians are done. They place a progress token and they'll refill their hand. They only have 3 cards though, so take another card off the Dynasty deck and shuffle their hand. Shuffle their deck, I mean. It's the Mauryan turn now. They rolled a 4, and the first card is Floodplain, which is a region. So they'll discard the top card of their deck, play the region, and exile a card. So Art will be exiled. The next card is Gandhara, a region card. So it'll look very much like the last one. Discard the top card, play the region, exile a card. So the Mauryans have 8 regions in play now, and they're going to exile the Hittites. And what do you know? Another region. Mountain. Okay, so the same thing. Discard the top card, play the region, exile a card. Now they exile the Macedonians. The last card for the Mauryans is City of Pataliputra. Hopefully that's close to the correct pronunciation. It's a pinned card. I think that will be the first priority. Yeah. Okay, gain progress, discard the top card of the deck, put this card into history. So that's the end of the Mauryan turn. They place progress. And they only have 1 card left in their deck, so that means they take the Glory card, which has that moon symbol on it, full moon symbol, And when it goes in the discard pile, they become an empire. So they'll shuffle their deck, turn over their empire card, and refill their hand. The Persians now roll a 3, and the first card is Glory. And so, Glory is a named card on their chart. If able, abandon 3 regions to gain the top fame card. Otherwise, okay. They can abandon 3 regions. They have 3 in play, so it's just the right amount for them. So they will abandon all 3 of them. Okay, so jungle, abandon, sorry, goes into discard. Let's see in plain and Chosha. Okay, and they'll gain the top fame card. The next card is Bactria, a region. So they'll play the region and exile a card. So they'll exile the Highlands. The next card is Marsh, another region card. And so they will play it and exile the card. And they'll exile Coast. The last card for the Persians is Prosperity. Again, that's not named in their empire chart, so we go all the way to other. If able, acquire a region. No, there are no regions in the market. Otherwise, gain 1 progress. So that's all they're going to do, gain a progress. So that's the end of their turn. They'll place progress on the 3 card and refill their hand. And once again, not quite enough cards to refill their hand, so they'll take another card from the Dynasty deck and shuffle. The Mauryans now roll a 2, and they start out aggressive with their Indian elephants. Just like with the Persians, I put a big sticky note here to remind me to look at the empire charts now. Okay, so this is our barbarian card, so they're going to start there. If able, return a region in discard to the top of the bot deck. Put this card into history. Well, the bots the Mauryans don't have a discard pile right now. They just reshuffled, so that won't do anything. So this card's just going to go into history. That's it. Next card is Unrest. Simply goes back to the Unrest pile. And then more Indian elephants. This one, however, does not have the barbarian sign, interestingly. Okay. So that it will be played differently. Okay, so it'll be the attack. Breakthrough for a tributary. Put this card into history. And force the Persians to recall a region. There's a tributary in play, the Chin, so they will break through for that, leaving the Unrest behind. And the Persians will have to recall the Marsh. And last card for the Mauryans is Prosperity. And again, they don't have Prosperity as a named card on this chart. Okay, so we get all the way to other. Prosperity doesn't have any symbols on it. So it's just gain of progress, that's it. So that's the end of the turn for the Mauryans. They'll place progress on the 2 card, slide that down, and refill their hand. The Mauryans didn't quite have enough cards, so they will take a top card of their Dynasty deck, put in the discard. They only have 2 cards in their deck. Okay. The Persian turn now, they roll a 1, and the first card is Imperium, the fame card. And so that says spend 3 population to gain 1 progress as many times as possible. Well, they just did that, so they don't have any population anymore. So all that's going to happen is this card's going to go into history. The next card is Zagros, a region. And so that means they're going to play it and then exile a card. So Invasion will be exiled. And now the main deck is empty. Therefore, game end is now triggered. That means the Persians will finish their turn, and then we'll have 1 more round. So the Mauryans will have 1 more turn, and then the Persians will have 1 more turn. After that, we'll score and see who wins. The next card for the Persians is Darius I, which is an Empire card. I think that's the first priority. Yeah. Acquire any card, and then put this card into history. So there's lots of progress tokens in the market, but in any case, Mercenaries is still worth the most because it has the asterisk. So that's worth 5. So they're going to take that one. The last card for the Persians is Prosperity, which is not named, so we go to Other. If able, acquire a region. There are no regions in the market, so we can't do that. Otherwise, gain a progress, so they'll do that. So that's the end of the Persian turn. They'll place progress on the 1 card and refill their hand. So this is the last round of the game now. The Mauryans roll a 3 and start with the espionage card, which is an attack card. Just the first priority. Okay, breakthrough for a tributary. Put this card into history. You recall a region. So because there are no tributaries in the market, the bot, and we're breaking through here, the bot's trying to break through for a tributary. The next thing it would do is draw cards off the main deck until it found a tributary and take that. But there is no main deck anymore. So therefore, we treat it as though the bot has searched through the deck and found no tributary, and so the bot just gets 2 progress instead of actually getting a tributary card. And the Persians have to recall a region yet again, so Zagros comes back once more. So the next card is a tributary, Chin. And so here, it's also pinned though, so pinned actually comes first before tributary. Okay, so if able, return an unrest from discard. They don't have any discard pile right now, so they won't do that. Otherwise, gain 1 progress, put this card into history. Right, so they'll gain a progress, and this card will go to history. The next card for the Mauryans is Glory. So, if able, abandon 3 regions. I think they can do that. They have a lot of regions in play. To gain the top fame card, otherwise, okay. So they'll abandon 3 regions, starting with the one that's come into play most recently, that's Mountain. Then they'll abandon Gandhara and Floodplain. Okay. And they'll acquire the top fame card. And the last cards for the Mauryans in this game is Prosperity. Okay, which isn't named anymore, so it's just gain a progress, that's it. Okay, so the Mauryans are done. They'll place a progress token. Slide that card down and they'll refill. Don't think they have enough cards to do it. Nope, that's it. So they'll take a card off the Dynasty deck, reshuffle their deck. So the Mauryans are now done for the game. And this is the Persians' last turn. They roll a 6, so they're going to play all their cards for their final turn, and they'll start with the City of Persepolis, which is a pinned card, which I think is the first priority. Yes, okay. Oh, well, that's easy. Just put it into history. Next card is Unrest. And then we have Mercenaries, which has the Empire symbol, which I believe is on here. Yeah, right there. Okay. Acquire any card. Put this card into history. Well, every card in the market has some progress tokens on it now. But it turns out that this card, Onager, is worth the most. It's worth 5 victory points. So they're going to take that one. The next card is Marsh, a region. So that says play the region, exile a card. So the first card in the market with no tokens on it is Exports, so they will exile that. So the last card of the game for the Persians, Nicene Plain, a region card once again, so they will play it and exile a card. And so Pharmacy is exiled. So that's the end of the Persians' turn. They won't place progress because they rolled a 6, so they'll just refill their hand. As long as they have at least 5 cards in their deck, and they do, they won't add any more Dynasty cards, and therefore that's the end of the game. Time to score. Let's see who wins. As before with scoring, I like to just do a one-to-one correspondence rather than add up all the points and compare. So starting with just the tokens here, we can take 10 away from each side, and another, let's see, this is 6 here, so we'll take 6 from this side, and also every 10 in materials is worth 1 victory point, so, and these are worth nothing. Alright, so just with the tokens, the Mauryans are ahead by 12. So to counteract those 12 victory points, I found 12 victory points from the Persians, so that wipes that out. Also, the Persians had an unrest card, so they'll lose a 2-point value card to make up for that. Okay, so now it's time for the final reckoning. And as before, I've lined up all the cards in a column next to each other, one for one. And we'll see at the end of this column who has any cards left, and whoever does, that is the winner. So we have the Mauryans on the left and the Persians on the right. Here we go. So first, each of these is worth 11. The triumph card over there is worth 11. And remember, question marks always take the highest value there. So that's worth 8. It doesn't matter whether it was in history or not. Bot scoring is simplified. So they just get the higher value. So that's worth 11 on that side. So those cancel each other. Next, asterisks, of course, are worth 5. Again, we ignore the text. And over here, this question mark is worth 2. So that's 5 on both sides. They cancel each other. More asterisks. More asterisks. More asterisks. And another 5 pile. So who has any cards left? Nobody. Believe it or not, it is a tie. It's dead even. Wow. I thought the Mauryans were definitely going to win when I saw those 12 progress tokens still left over. But, you know, their deck, most of their cards were worthless. So, yeah, it's actually a dead tie. So we got to figure out what to do now. So, we have a pretty significant problem here. I mean, you know, in the grand scheme of things, I guess it's not that significant, but at least as far as this game goes. All right, so if we look at the rules for scoring in the solitaire game, that's of no help at all, because it says if you score, of course these are solitaire rules, so they're meant for a solitaire player. If you score more points than the bot, you win. If you scored equal to or less than the bot wins. So they're, you know, you lose in the case of a tie, right, according to the solo rules. But that doesn't help us here. We're not playing solo. So, I mean, which bot would count as the human player, right? You know, so, right, that's completely unhelpful. So if we look at the main rules, the non-solo rules, the regular rules, and see what it says about the tie, what it says about a tie. It says in the case of a tie, the tied players share the victory. Well, that's all well and good in a friendly game to share the victory, but we're playing a tournament here. So I need to figure out who moves on in the tournament and who's eliminated. So I don't really know what to do in this case. Should we... Well, I don't know. I don't even know what kind of criteria we could use here for deciding. Some kind of tiebreaker. I don't know what to do in this case, so I'm going to throw it to you. If you have any ideas, dear viewer, of what we should do to resolve this issue, let me know in the comments. And in the next video, I guess we'll start with deciding what to do about this case. Okay, I look forward to hearing your ideas. And until next time, bye.